Okay, so video on stock 4xe mileage with 37s. Just gonna get into this, not gonna try to ramble, be a quick video. So miles per gallon stock is 44 to 46 with stock tires. I'm roughly getting around 650 miles per tank. I think it's around 2 weeks with stock tires. That's how long it lasts me running stock. Pretty good, and electric. So obviously electric every day, and then on the weekends I try to use electric the whole time. And then if I can find somewhere to charge, that's helpful too. But so yeah, 44 to 46 miles per gallon on average, and then that's hand calculated. That's not on the dash. The dash shows like 33, 34. This is 44 to 46 with your hand. With 37s, I calculated it out to 34 miles per gallon at the gas receipt. For 6.47 gallons. So Monday I ran 37s to work. You can see the Jeep, it still has the 37s on it, but I ran 37s for a week, Monday through Friday. I drive 50 to 60 miles a day, and I got 34 miles per gallon. So that was electric all the way to work, and then fuel home, and 34 miles per gallon. That's stock gears on a Sahara 2023 Jeep Wrangler or Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sahara 4xe. So roughly 10 miles per gallon loss, but overall not horrible. For a Jeep, for driving, what they say, driving brick, it's pretty good. So 34 miles per gallon. I think I was at like 200 and, what would that be? 220 something miles for the week. 6.47 gallons. So yeah, 34 miles per gallon. So not too bad with that. I think I was a little under a quarter tank on Friday. So feel with 37s compared to stock. So driving to work usually on stock, it's responsive, it's quick, it's nimble, it's fun, no issues. It's great rig to commute with, and everything is awesome. With 37s, initially it felt sluggish at first. First 2 days, I noticed like going from a stop, it felt like something was holding you back, obviously, for a little bit. But I don't know if it was me getting used to the 37s or if it was the Jeep adapting. That's another question. I guess we can just kind of form it into, but the Jeep adapting. But it felt like later in the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that it seemed to accelerate better than it did in the beginning. Like, it just felt like there wasn't as much drag. The tires weren't dragging as much. It's almost like it got used to them and then started acting different. But at the end of the week, like now, it doesn't seem like it's a huge deal with the 37s. So overall, a couple days, it starts to feel okay, and yeah, it's not a big deal. You can get up to speed. I was still hitting with stock gears. I was still hitting seventh gear on the highway. I was even like doing small climbs because we have a lot of hills here in the Portland area. But I was hitting, pretty decent hills on the highway, longer grades, and I was looking down. I was in seventh gear, which is really, really good for stock gears. I mean, just can't express that enough. I hit eighth downhill a couple times, but seventh, I saw myself in seventh a few times when I did know to look, and then sixth all the time. Seventh and eighth gear on our Jeeps, the 8-speed is overdrive. So the fact that you can get into overdrive with 373s, which is the lowest gear ratio in Jeeps, or the highest, would be the highest, 373. The lowest would probably be 538. So I got the highest gear ratio in the Jeep, but I'm still hitting seventh on 37s. So that's pretty impressive. And I'm not giving it a lot of gas. Like, I'm pretty conservative when I'm driving to get the best miles. So so feel with 37s, the stock, it did feel sluggish at first, but overall it started to feel better. Compared to a JK, it would probably be amazing. Did the 4xe adjust the tires? Kind of covered that in the last one. I did feel like it did adjust. It kind of like adapted and learned the tires and the load, and then it kind of just got better is what it felt like, but it could have just been me. Issues with stock lift around town. So stock lift around town, driving, no issues at all. 37 stock lift on a Sahara. So I think Rubicons have like a 1-inch tall lift from the factory. I don't, I have a Sahara, so I had no issues. Going over bumps, hitting, speed bumps that are roughly this tall, no issues. But I've taken it off road, which I'm gonna get to that next one. But around town, no issues with 37s stock lift. Yeah, drive it, do whatever, no big deal. 37s off-road versus stock tires. So I did take the 4xe off-road with the stock tires, went and hit a bunch of trails and whatnot, as much wheeling as I could. Hit some pretty good stuff, no issues. Has tons of flex for a stock Sahara. It's for the stock tires, tons of flex. So I was surprised. I think if you did stock 33s, if you were able to get like a Rubicon 33 tire or anything, you could go really far with this thing, just from what I noticed with the street tires on off-road. With 37s, it was obviously a huge difference. My issue with 37s off-road was I was able to hit everything except for there was one hill climb I hit where I was actually rubbing into the fenders, and it got to a point to where it was rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and then it came out of it. But I was worried that guy's kind of creeping. It did get to a point to where I was gonna take the fender off, which is okay because I have Rubicon fenders here that I'm waiting to put on. So, but it didn't do it. The fenders did flex enough to where I was able to get through the hill on the hill climb. But it was pretty steep, so it was impressive. So off-road 37s was great. I did have to watch rubbing of the fenders, but I was probably getting anywhere from around 7 inches of travel before I had any issues. So I was able to hit a lot of the easier trails with no issues. I just had to make sure I was listening for rubbing, and if I did, you either keep going or you back up. You kind of have to make your own judgment call. But yeah, you could do it. You just gotta be careful until you get a lift, or just get more bump stops, get a higher bump stop, and then swap that out, and then that could help you not have to get a lift. But that'd be a cheaper way there. Overall thoughts of 37s. I think if you had a shorter commute to work, I drive, like I said, 50, 60 miles a day. I think if I was 8 miles from work, it'd be amazing. I would leave the 37s on, not a big deal, because you're so close to work and your commute, it wouldn't affect me. Even with my drive, it's not a huge deal. I think I'm gonna put the other tires back on for now, just because there's really no need to have the 37s just to commute to and from work. I do like the way it looks. I think it looks amazing, and I would love to keep them on, but having that extra 10 miles per gallon, I think is gonna save me right now until I can either move closer to work or find somewhere closer to home. But at the moment, so like I said, I think if I was closer to where I was commuting, I would leave them on. It's not losing, going from 46 miles per gallon to 34 miles per gallon, to me, I would just leave them. But since I do have a long commute, I think I'm gonna put the other tires on, just for wear and tear, if I don't need to. And then I'm gonna keep the 37s for like going off road. If I'm gonna go on the weekends, throw them on, go out and play, come back on, swap them out. But overall, yeah, it's, I would say if you were wanting to do it, I would say not a problem. Throw them on. The 4xe adapts, and it's got tons of power. I think it's 470 foot-pounds of torque and 370 horsepower. So it does great. But that's my opinion. I think anybody could run these daily stock and be fine. And then if you did get gears, I'm on the fence. I think if you wanted to run a 48, I think it would be great. I think if you had a lot of gear, like overlanding, bumpers, tents, fridges, you know, you, your wife, girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, dog, and all the gear, I think 513s with all of that, just because the 48 to 513 isn't a huge jump. And if you're gonna have all that gear, I would just do it 513s, and I think that would be solid. I don't think 538s would be a good jump unless you had 40s and all the extra gear. I think 513s would be a good compromise there. So I think this covers the questions. I can make an off-road or an off-road video if you guys want to see it. If you guys want to see like how it looks off-road with 37s, but I guess let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in that. If you guys have any other questions about what you want to see with the 37s on the stock, let me know. If there's things you want to see, I do have Rubicon fender flares to put on. I did build a drawer, not a drawer. I built like a step in the back, kind of because the battery lifts up. So I got neighbors walking around. I did build a step to bridge that battery because the battery comes in, it steps down in the back, as we all know. So I built something up so I could stuff underneath, and then I can still put stuff on top. And then you can also lay on it. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, I can post a video of that. But yeah, I think that covers it. Don't want to ramble too long. If you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to try to make videos or anything that you guys maybe try to help curb your decision. If you're thinking about going to a 4xe or not, I call it the E92 because it's just, I mean, it's got so much power. It feels like a 392, except you get all the gas mileage and none of the cons. I guess you could be some, but yeah, that's a video. Keep it short. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Talk to you later.